Good evening everybody tonight and welcome here to the DTMs around Moscow Raceway. Now please be sure to just bear with me during this stream. It's the first time that I'm using a different mic, so I'm just trying out some new stuff here. Ready for the Race Department Le Mans Series by Fasaro round number 4 at Road America in about 4 weeks time. That'll be the end of August. I'm just make sure everything's prepared. I'm trying out a new mic. I'll be adjusting settings over the next few days to make sure everything becomes the best it can. We're here at the end of the practice session. We're leading up to a 15-minute qualifying session, ready for a 40-minute race around in these cars, and it's the first time that I've ever seen Moscow, and I really should have watched the DTM races earlier on today to give myself some tips about the race tonight, but I didn't, and I regret it now because I have no idea about the Moscow circuit, which is now being displayed on your screen now. This is the track. As you can see, drivers coming up towards that start-finish line. Jerome de Witt is not, however. He's down at the bottom end of the circuit, and he's coming up towards the longest straight that we're going to see so many overtakes via slipstream happen along there. It's going to be crazy. And just to prove that here, this is Jerome de Witt. He's currently on the fastest lap. He's put in the fastest lap of the session so far. He's currently running an even fast lap. But here you go. Do the right-hander and look how far that straight is. That is how long this straight is. And slipstream is going to prove very, very vital when we come into the race. In qualifying, however, it won't matter. Obviously, private qualifying, as it always has been in our RaceRoom events. Good evening, Lars, and welcome to the stream. Good evening, everybody, of course, and welcome here tonight for RaceRoom Sunday, probably one of our more popular events of the week. Certainly my favourite event to stream over the week because it's a Sunday. It's a nice Sunday evening. It's a lovely way to end your week. It's a lovely way to get ready for the week ahead. And some of the drivers here tonight, absolutely fantastic, all flying around. As you can see there, top 7, all within a second of each other there. 8th position, and 8th is Pietro Blasiak. He's not too far behind, just outside of that 1 second mark. We've got 28 people currently in the server. Looking at it, we've got 34 sign-ups. It's absolutely full grid tonight. It's absolutely crazy. So looking through again, I'm going to have a little look to see if we see any new names. One of the big highlights though is Jerome de Witt. I don't think I've seen Jerome too often, if at all actually, but he's immediately gone to the top of our timing sheet. Tom Lombards we haven't seen very often, I believe, or at all actually, in our RaceRoom events, but he's here. Going down, Gary Parker. This is the first time that I've seen Gary. He's sitting in 9th position at the moment as we come to the end of the practice session. Continuing to look through the names. Nicholas Osterberg is a rather new name for me. David Ragni, also a new name. Continuing to look through the grid. I think they're pretty much it out of the new drivers tonight. Oh, 1 minute. There is also a Ralph Euler. I don't think I've commented on a Ralph Euler before. So yeah, there are again a number of new names around tonight that we do sometimes see in our races. As it's becoming ever so more popular with some of the new names to get involved in these races. So we're coming up to the end of the practice session now. Manuel Alves did go into fastest in that first sector. Second sector, however, it wasn't even a PB, so it doesn't look like this is going to be an improved lap time. Getting a little bit too much of the sausage curb. And it's very easy to spin it out that final corner, I've noticed. I mean, I've seen a lot of people spin their cars through there, so it's not looking great. Come the qualifying session, which we are about to roll into. Here we go. We are now into the qualifying session, and we're looking at Gary Parker. He is the first out of his garage. So good evening everybody and welcome. We are here in the DTMs, both the 15 and 16 cars I believe. I'll just double check that now. Yes, you got the 2016 and 2015 cars, identical apart from the liveries, which is why we allow both into the servers. We're running around Moscow Raceway, and that's following the real-life DTM races that have been taking place this weekend. I hope that some of you have been watching those. I was unable to catch up with them, otherwise I would have, and it would have given me some great tips to talk about, but unfortunately not. Manuel Alves, though, going slightly wrong through the final corner as he gets ready to start his first flying lap. But we're looking at Gary Parker now. He's gone fastest in that first sector. He's the first driver to be putting in a lap time. We can see so many lines of where people have locked up going up that hill into these left-handers, and around goes Gary Parker. And around goes his time. Matthew Pepperell then. Now looking at him, he was the second to get going out of the pit box. However, it looks like he is going to be the first to put time across that line because Gary Parker spun. So we're coming up through now. Gary Parker has got heavy damage, but he's continuing on. He's still going to put in a sort of not a representative lap time, but he's going to put in a lap that means that if anyone doesn't get in a lap, which we do see a few people do, he will be placed ahead of those. Looking at Matthew Pepperell, though, he's going to come up to the final turn. This is following the very, very, very long straight. No DRS allowed in qualifying, of course, so it's going to feel even longer. Matthew Pepperell, though, is going to be the first to cross the line, and his time's going to be oh my word, that was very close, actually. Tobias Rona gets across the line at about the same time, a 129.829. Matthew Pepperell got a 132.6 as he's already falling down the order because Tony Versity, Steve Kenwood and Michael Wyatt have all gone in front of him. Here comes Jazz Forsberg to join the party, sitting in 4th position now with a 131.709. Forsberg's coming out of the first few corners now, out of turn number 2. Looking at Matthew Pepperell once more, he's in the middle part of the course. I would love to tell you what corner numbers they are, but I'm not too sure because, like I said, I don't actually know this track very well. But Pepperell going very, very aggressive there, runs it slightly wide. He gained some time, I think he felt, because he slammed onto the brakes after he went wide. He kept 2 wheels on the track, but slowing down, hitting the brakes, not gaining any time from going off of the circuit, which is what we want to see in our events, and very well done to him for that. As we continue to look at Pepperell as he heads up towards the very long straight now. He's got the right-hander onto the long straight. Don't think it is going to be an improvement. Obviously, that first sector was an improvement, but going wide and then hitting the brakes, it's still an improvement for Matthew Pepperell, and that's a surprise. So did he make a mistake on that first lap that we didn't catch when we were looking at... I can't remember who we were looking at now. We were looking at someone else, and that's probably why we didn't catch Pepperell's mistakes. Out of the final corner and across the line, it's an improvement by 1 position and an improvement of his lap by about 1 or 2 tenths there. Tony Versity was fastest in the first sector, not the fastest in the second, but an improvement overall pushes him into 2nd position. He's about 6 tenths down. Jerome DeWitt in 3rd. Now remember, Jerome was fastest in the practice session, currently 3rd at the moment. We're looking at Jerome. Fastest, only just in that first sector. Personal best in the 2nd. Where's it going to place him? He's just been taken over by Alvarez, and he's going to improve and put it into 2nd. Tobias Rona having a very nice job at the top of the timings at the moment. Good evening, everyone watching Lesson Expert Racing. Well done. Hello again. I don't know why I'm saying hey, well done to you, but hello again, and thank you for joining us once more. Dalton as well. Good evening. Good evening, everyone, of course, who is watching tonight. I'll be happy to get your feedback on how my microphone sounds, because it is a different microphone to what I usually use. It is, in fact, a not my headset microphone, so I'm really worried that it's going to go completely wrong tonight. And bearing in mind it's my favourite event, I really hope it doesn't. Jerome DeWitt, fastest overall in the first sector. Can DeWitt put it onto pole? He was fastest in the practice session. He's been moving up the order. As we just see on the left-hand side, Ronnie Van Rouge puts it into a top 10. 10th position at the moment. But looking at DeWitt's time, he's going to come out of the 2nd sector very, very shortly. And here he comes out. Oh, just the rear end kicks out just that little bit. Is it going to be an improvement on his lap time? He's coming up to that timing line for the sector. It's not. It's even slower than his previous best. So Looks like he just got a little bit too happy with the rear end of the car. It started to kick out a little bit. Looking into P20. Oh, a lot of positions changing actually. A lot of new times being placed in. Currently, we've only got 3 people in the server without a lap time. That's Ralf Julia, Frans van der Linden and Ingemar Petersen. We've got all the drivers up to 27th position currently with a lap. We're only 5 minutes into the qualifying session, so we're still expecting a lot more to change in your order. Look at your top 4 though, mainly 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Only a 10th, or less than a 10th even, separates Jeroen de Wit and Tony Versity. And then about a 10th, just over a 10th of a second separate Tony Versity and Manuel Alvarez. It's crazy close between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's going to be really interesting come the race. Now, talking about the race, it's a 40-minute race. Now, we normally see in the 40-minute races a mandatory pit stop. We normally see definitely in the DTMs, we normally see them have to come into the pit lane. But on the information that I've been given, it does not say a mandatory stop. So, I'm trying to read here. Is there a mandatory stop somewhere? Is there a mandatory stop? I cannot find it saying. So, we're going to assume that there isn't. But if there is, then there is. As we come through, good evening everybody who is joining in with the stream. Steve Kenwood puts in a lap that places him into 5th. That's a 131.064. Looking at Franco Pagali though, currently on PB in the 1st and 2nd sector. Will it be an improvement? Currently 24th position. Going to come across the line. It's a massive improvement, up to 19th. That is crazy. I think he gained about 2 seconds in his lap there, so maybe an improvement. Tom Lombard, fastest overall in the 1st sector, personal best in the 2nd, going to come across the line. Is it going to be improvement? It is, and he's going to get involved now in that top 4 battle. It's now turned into a top 5 battle. Of course, Tobias Rona, not so much in the battle. He's still going, he's gone fastest overall in the 1st and 2nd sector. He's going to come across the line. Is he going to go fastest overall once more and improve on that lap? Yes, he is. It's a 129.774. So now the gap between himself, Jeroen de Wit, and the rest of the field has increased. Tony Versity, fastest overall in that 1st sector, but he puts it slightly wide coming out of the 2nd sector. That's going to lose him a lot of time in his number 16 BMW. Is going to come across the timing line very shortly. Is this going to still be an improvement? No, it is not. He's lost a lot of time in that middle sector. As we come through, Tony Versity, he is going to give up with his lap as he drives into the pit lane. Now, I've got Auto Director on, which is why we're watching him driving to the pit lane, because I haven't turned it off yet. Why are we still watching Tony? Please change it. We don't care about Tony. No offense, Tony. That's it. I'm going to have to change it myself and turn on Auto Director again, because otherwise we were just going to watch Tony do a pit stop. Tobias Rona though, fastest overall once more in the 1st sector. He's really picking up the pace coming into the final part of qualifying now. About 10 minutes have gone, 9 minutes have gone in fact. 6 minutes remain, means we're now getting into crunch time. We're only yet to see Ingemar Petersen put in a lap time. Currently we can see our top 26 there, but we do have 3 other cars putting in a lap time. Olesreski in 27th, Euler in 8th, and Van der Linden in 29th. Ingemar Petersen, like I said, yet to put in a lap time. Tobias Rona was just slower in that 2nd sector, so that looks like it's not going to be an improvement. It's not. 2/10 slower in his previous best, in fact. Nicholas Osterberg just puts it into a top 10 there to get it past Blashasak, and they are rather close in time. Vangelis Paginos currently fastest in the 1st sector, his personal best, in his 1st sector. Personal best in the 2nd sector as well, running around in the Mercedes. He's going to come up to the final corner. You can see actually there's a quite even spread between BMWs and Mercedes and Audis actually. There's a few Audis mixed into the field, so it's quite a nice even spread of all the cars, and it's going to be an improvement from Vangelis Paginos. Puts him into 8th position. Absolutely fantastic indeed. And continue through tonight. Good evening everyone watching, as we are about 5 minutes away from getting started to our 40-minute race. Now this is a bit weird because I have to lean forward to get to this mic. I can't just sit back and relax, because that's what I could do with my headset. Not this time. Pietro Blashasak though, currently on a PB, and look how close he was. Only 0.021 off of the fastest lap time in that 1st sector. Comes across into the 2nd and only 9 tenths down. If he can keep this together, he only loses maybe another 5 tenths he could still move it up to about 9th position. If he only loses about half a second. So let's see what he can do. He's going to come across the line. It's going to be a 131.3, and it moves him up to 9th. I said if he gains another half a second, then that's good. But then here comes Radek Poleskis. Oh my, Poleskzes. Polekzek. That is a new name for me, actually. In fact, as we actually increase to 31 drivers now, because Steve Legale has popped across. He was taking part in a special event on Automobilista, and I assume that's where we have a few of our other drivers as well. However, we have got about 4 minutes to go of qualifying here as we're looking at Jerome DeWitt looking to get past Manuel Alvarez, who has been able to improve on his lap time and go into second. They're still over half a second off of our pole sitter, Tobias Rona. Now I'm going to have a quick catch up onto the track, and that's very good and clear. That's absolutely fantastic. As I continue to look through, and this track upsets you, Christian. Yes, well, I've never actually looked at this track before. Don't even know. Jerome DeWitt, is it going to be improvement? It is, but it's not enough to improve on a position. He remains in P3 at the moment. Manuel Alvarez is still on a personal best in the first sector. Into the second sector, it looks like he lost a little bit of time coming onto the straights, but it's still a PB, and he actually closed up in that second sector by the look of it. Only a 1/10 of a second off of Rona instead of 2/10 that he was. So he's currently 3/10 off overall. So, oh, and he goes around. That was going to be quite a nice improvement by the look of it, but he goes around, unfortunately. Steve Kenwood sitting in 7th at the moment, doing really well for himself. David Ragni, another new name tonight for me. He's going to come across the line, currently running his personal best around the circuit, and it is an improved position. He is going to get past Ronnie Van Rouge. Now, we saw Van Rouge in 10th earlier, but he's been knocked all the way down to 15th, and that's what I mean. We're going to see people start to put in faster lap times come to the end of the session here. Frans van der Linden currently on a PB lap. Is it going to be an improvement? It is almost a second. No, I think that was 8/10 improvement. It puts him in front of Pigali and in front of Rocker. It moves him up to 18th position. So a nice improvement for him. Manuel Alvarez then improving on his lap time at the moment. Only a 10th off of Rona in the first sector. He's really pushing to the limits. Very close to the limits. I'm not sure if he was still within the limits of the track. That may be an invalidated lap, but I think he just was. Very close indeed. Really trying to push as hard as he can. Pushes it over to the apex. A little bit of damage to the front of the car, so he's obviously had a spin at some point. Coming up towards the long straight, then getting a wide entrance to get a nice fast exit. You sacrifice your entry speed to get the faster exit. That's what a lot of drivers don't learn. Coming into the final sector, it is going to be a PB, but how much is it going to be improved by? I don't think it's going to be enough to get past Tobias, but it very much could be enough to get within that half a second, maybe within a few 10ths of a second. We're into the final minute of qualifying. We're going to see Manuel Alvarez cross the line, and it's not that much of an improvement in the end, and still not within half a second. We're going to have a little look at our results, because obviously you will never get to look at them otherwise. Tobias Rona on pole position with a 129.774. We have Manuel Alvarez sitting in second position. Jerome DeWitt in third. Tony Versity sits in fourth position with Tom Lombard in fifth, and Radek Paleski sitting in sixth. Steve Kenwood is in 7th position on the grid with Jazz Forsberg, Vangelis Peginos and Ronnie Van Rouge rounding out your top 10. We then have Tuomas Lankinen sitting in 11th position with Nicholas Osterberg in 11th. Matthew Pavarel in 12th with... Sorry, that means Tuomas Lankinen has just been promoted to 10th. One of our top 10 has just disconnected. Continuing looking back through, though, Matthew Pavarel in 12th to David Rigny in 13th. Gary Parker sitting in 14th with Michael Wyatt in 15th. Ross Garland, Frans van der Linden, Franco Begali, Francesco Rocca and Stephen Gibb round out your top 20. And then at the rear of your field, you've got Martin Fayela, Ovin Anderson, Roy Magnus, Patrick van der Meulen, Nicholas Kozolet, Steve Legale, Simeon Oliseski and Ralph Julia. And then without lap times, we also have Pietro Blasicek and Ingemar Peterson. So we have 30 cars getting ready to start this race as we are about to get going here. Looking, I think this is going to be a really good race. Just gonna look at the chat. Good evening, everyone watching tonight. Hello, hello, Rally Roy Madness. Hello, Roy. Of course, welcome to the stream once more. Hello, Andrew as well, and of course, Stewie. I know you said hello earlier, Stewie. I just missed that, but this is going to be a good race. We've got one of the DTMs at the rear of the circuit deciding to line up in a complete sideways angle. I think he's the only one lined up at that angle. We may see more be putting place onto the grid, but that's not really the angle you want to start a race at. It feels like that's where the medical car should be sitting, not one of our racers. However, 2 seconds to go, and we are about to get going. There we are, 2 cars facing complete weird angles. That Red Bull car just having massive issues with getting started. That's Ingemar Peterson, and we are green straight away. No wait on the lights. We've got a couple of people coming around and appearing from the corner. So people actually setting from before the corner. But here we go into turn number 1. There's a little bit of contact up front, but most drivers giving each other room. We have a couple of cars around. There's about 3 or 4 cars around on the exit of turn number 1. But in the most part, we've actually ended up all clean, definitely near the front, near the rear of the field. It seems to have sorted itself out now. Midfield, they're still running in a very bunched up space, and that's actually David Ragni making a mistake on his own. There's a little bit of a side-by-side. It's Nicholas Osterberg and Ronnie Van Rouge trying to run side-by-side there. They're just not able to keep it together next to each other, and they sort of settle themselves out. And now Osterberg is under attack from Gary Parker. Gary Parker up the inside, heading up towards the left-hander, and he's going to lose the position. Osterberg down the position there. Very nice, easy overtake. You can see that's almost 3 wide behind. I'm just trying to find out who the heck is battling who, because it's very difficult at this point in the race to see who the heck you should be watching. Up front, Tobias Rona is already able to pull out a 2.5 second gap to Manuel Alvarez. As for the rest of the field, you've got Tom Lombards all over the rear of Jerome DeWitt. That's for P number 4, and already you can see that gap between Rona and Alvarez, which has already increased. Alvarez and Versity just behind. I say just behind, about 2 seconds behind. You can see there's now a train of cars in this midfield battle. Down near the rear though, you've got Blasicek going through, and actually you've got side by side into the final corner. This is Gary Parker up the inside of Vangelis Parginos, and there's going to be contact, and that is Parker around. He's been collected by Osterberg. He's going to move it out of the way, and he's going to spin it off of the racing line, off the circuit in fact, to make sure it stays all nice and clean. Osterberg now has got Ragni all over his rear. That's also Anderson running slightly wide. You see Ragni actually looking to go up the inside. It's slightly forced Osterberg off the racing line, but behind, Anderson has lost 2 positions within about 2 seconds though. He just dropped down like a stone, and he's wide again. I think he was the driver that we saw run wide on the first lap of the race. As we now look at Roy, he's around the outside, just keeps it together. He is ahead of Nicholas Kozole by about half a second, but he is very, very close to Anderson, looking to get into P number 15. We're getting the standings on your left-hand side for you now, as Magnus is behind Ovin Anderson, coming through the left-hander into the right-hander, and he's going to hold on to the position for now. But that's going to be Pileski down the position. Tuomas Lankinen is going to be around the outside, but no, now Lankinen's down. Lankinen's now under attack from Jazz Forsberg. Forsberg all over the rear, the 3 of them extremely close together. Lankinen goes to the driver's right-hand side. He's going to be on the outside line into the final corner. Jazz Forsberg's got a perfect view of this battle just in front of him. Lankinen's already through before the end of the straight, but Pileski is going to try and hold his line. Can't do anything. Lankinen's slightly wide. Now Pileski is slightly slower on the exit. Forsberg's got a faster exit. He's going to move to the inside into turn number 1. Will he be able to make the move for P number 7? He can't quite do it. Lankinen gaining a lot more time over these 2 drivers through turn number 1 than I was expecting. Through turn number 2, it definitely is. Lankinen is one of those drivers that sacrifices entry speed for the better corner. Exit is just up ahead. We also see that battle. Jerome DeWitt on the inside of Tom Lombards. They're going nail and tongue here. They're battling as hard as they possibly can. Lombard's all over the rear wing of Jerome DeWitt. We're on board with DeWitt now. You can just see that gap slightly increasing under the straights, but it will close back up going into the corners, and there you go, it just closes right up with Lombard's about half a second behind, closes up even more in the slower part of the course, and he's going to be trying his hardest, sacrificing entry speed for a better corner exit. Can't quite do it. They're definitely trying different racing lines here as we are looking on board Lombard's. We've got Jerome DeWitt just in front. Look how close he gets, heading up into the penultimate turn. As now it looks like he's going to try and make that move. As now he is in slipstream, that time getting closer and closer together. He's going to go for the outside line here. And is he going to be able to make the move to Tom Lombard's on the outside of Jerome DeWitt? He's going to have to stay behind for now. He is going to have to stay behind. In fact, he's lost a little bit of time with that. Tony Versity is side by side with Manuel Alvarez. They go into turn number 1. Versity's got the position ahead at the moment, but now Jerome DeWitt is going to try and get involved in that battle for P number 3. And oh my God, Manuel Alvarez is round. Jerome DeWitt is off the circuit. Tom Lombard has just been promoted up to P number 3. That's fantastic news for him. And it's actually put Tuomas Lankinen right behind in P number 4 in a chance with third position. Now Tuomas, I believe, was the race on Thursday. The GT3s around Mid-Ohio was his first race on RaceRoom, and now this is his second, and he did really well in the GT3s. Not as well as what he has done on Automobilista, but this is fantastic. The GT3 Championship, it will be very likely to kill me come the end of it. Yes, it will. Pileski, though, is behind Pepperell, and that is for P number 10. But Ronnie Van Rouge trying up the inside. Manuel Alvarez. Alvarez a little bit slower. Van Rouge trying to get through. Can't quite do it. And he's going to have to stay behind for now. But look how close. That's 5 cars. We can get 6 cars, in fact, in a single camera shot. And now coming along out of the penultimate corner onto the straight. You can just see the cars snake along into slipstream. We've got that one car, I believe, of Radek Pileski, about a second behind this battle, trying to get involved. But now this is going to be Matthew Pepperell up the inside of Vangelos Parginos into the final turn. He's going to have the position before the corner. Parginos breaks just that slight bit earlier, as now it's going to be Tom Lombard's into second. Tony Versity ran wide through turn number 1. It allowed Tom Lombard's to get through, and he is into second now. Tony Versity is going to be trying his hardest to get back through here with that, as we're looking on board with Tom Lombard's. We're looking back towards Tony Versity. Tuomas Lankinen just behind that, and Jazz Forsberg involved. This is a 4-car battle for P number 2 in this race. I mean, it's certainly not the battle that has most cars involved in. We have a 6-car battle for 21st position. You just saw there Tom Lombard's rear wing drop down. I think he had DRS open and activated along that straight. Now, I wasn't paying too much attention, so I was looking at my timing, but I believe that's what happened. Lombard's, though, still got Versity all over the rear, getting into the braking point, and then we're going to go run on board here with Jazz Forsberg. As you can see, that whole line of cars in front of him. Now, Forsberg knows if there's just a single mistake in front of him, it's going to be position gained for him. Looking at Tony Versity now, he is still got Tom Lombard's just in front, but it's going to be a little bit of a wobble just behind, and that was with Jerome DeWitt, who's dropped to 6th position following Manuel Alvarez's mistake, sort of forced Jerome off the circuit. It's coming through now, as it looks like Versity is actually going to lose a little bit of time to that final corner, but Tuomas Lankinen did have a slide on the exit, just a bit too happy on the throttle, unsettled the rear end of the car. Now, this is the battle that I was talking about before that had 6 cars. It's now separated, but there are a few cars still battling out. Patrick van der Meulen is going to be side by side with David Magini, though. Magni is going to go up, around, and already ahead before the end of the straight. Now, there are a number of battles. We've got a car off there. That was Ovin Anderson off of the circuit. But there's a number of battles all the way around. I am definitely going to keep my eye on that 4-car battle for P number 2 that Tom Lombard's now leads. Tony Versity in 3rd, Tuomas Lankinen 4th, and Jazz Forsberg in 5th. It's only about 3 seconds down to Jerome DeWitt, and we know Jerome is really fast. It's just whether he'll be able to catch up or not. I mean, we're only about 9 minutes in, so it's going to be a very long way. So that is a little bit of a wobble there from Lankinen, going to allow Forsberg to have a little look and maybe get a way through. As now out of the penultimate corner, you've got Tom Lombards leading Versity, leading Lankinen, leading Forsberg. These four are really going to be focusing on that car in front of them, just looking in front, ready to pounce the moment there was a move. And you see Versity looking for the inside of Lombards into the final corner, and now he's gone slow, and here comes Lankinen. Tries to get around the outside of the final corner, can't quite do it, goes to the inside. This will be the inside line, turn number 1, and he's not close enough. The dramatic change in direction he had to do, because Versity was just giving him no room on that outside, meant that he lost a little bit of speed, and it's going to lose him position. But here he goes up the inside to Thomas Lankinen, up past Tony Versity. And that is an amazing move. Now Versity is under attack from Jazz Forsberg. I think that was a little bit of a tap there. Versity running over the apex. He's got Forsberg on the outside. I think that was a slowdown of some sort, maybe, for Versity, because he lost so much time there. Forsberg has lost off of that battle in front now as well, and that sort of split up. But that is extremely interesting, because here comes Jerome DeWitt now trying to get up past Tony Versity. Now these two are exchanging positions all the time in qualifying throughout the 15 minutes. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen there. As I'm just having a look here, Patrick Van der Meulen has gone off the circuit. And you see, now it's gone back to like a 6-7 car chain, and Van der Meulen is going to be overtaken by 2 cars for running off the circuit just that little bit. And here comes Ross Garland around the outside, and Garland up the position as well. Pietro Blasicek is going to be maybe even try and gain that as well, but no, because Blasicek is off massively in the background, and I think that was contact with Steve Legale, because both of the cars off of the circuit in the distance. Now looking, Vangelis Parginos is going to look past Matthew Pepperell. Now we saw this overtake happen a while ago, and it was Pepperell able to make the identical move pretty much to Parginos. Now Parginos has been able to make that move through, but this time it's for 8th and not for 9th that it originally was, because there was a driver on the top 10 who has dropped out by the look of it, out of the top 10. I'm not too sure. There was definitely a driver in front of him, because it was for 9th position last time. I think that was Radek Paleski though. I think he was the driver who dropped. I'm not too sure though. Looking at Parginos, he's still got Matthew Pepperell around, and that's a big oh, 1 minute, I thought that was a slide. No, it wasn't. It was just the nature of the track. My mistake. Ignore me. Right. Continuing to look at Jerome DeWitt then. This is the battle for P number 5. That battle for P number 2 is getting really close. Only about... Oh, actually, do you know, that is really close, because Lankinen tried to get through, but lost a little bit of time on the exit of the corner. And that gap's increased once more, so it's not quite enough at the moment. Running on board with Jerome DeWitt. He's got Versity in front, and this is the battle for P number 5. We're only 12 minutes into this race. We've still got 28 minutes to go. I don't believe we have a mandatory stop. It was not mentioned on the forum post, and I do not think that any of the P's have appeared next to the names. It has not, so I don't think we do have a mandatory stop. Which means that drivers will not have to worry about that. Thomas Lankinen is into second, but Lombard's going to get back up the inside into the final turn. That's the battle for P number 2 raging on. Tobias Rona has already pulled a 7-second gap in just 13 minutes. But here comes Lankinen to try at the inside turn number 1. Can't do it, but look at that. He's piling the pressure. The Mercedes driver right on the rear. The BMW is the only Mercedes in the top 6. The rest of them are in the BMWs. Thomas Lankinen, though, is going to be trying his hardest to put as much pressure on Tom Lombards as he can, and Lankinen's up the inside. Lankinen is up into P number 2. Tom Lombards down to P number 3. Lombards tries to get back up the inside. Can't quite do it. He loses a little bit of time. Now Jazz Forsberg's going to get involved behind, and now it's once again a 3-way battle for P number 2. But Lombards is still all over the rear on Thomas Lankinen. He's trying to try and get as much slipstream as he can. If he stays behind now, he can get in to the slipstream along the main straight up towards the final turn. He can also get into turn on DRS, activate the DRS and get through and back into P number 2 with Jazz Forsberg all over the room. He's going to try and get that position back as soon as he possibly can into the left-hander. Just one more turn, one more turn, and then it's the penultimate turn, and then we're on to that long straight. Just another left-hander here into the right-hander, and then onto the long straight, and this is where it's going to be, whether Tom Lombard is able to catch up, but he's lost a lot of time to Thomas Lankinen in that section. He's still got Jazz Forsberg all over his rear, and it's really close here. What is going to happen to Lombard? Is he going to be able to make the move back past Lankinen, or is he going to be overtaken by Jazz Forsberg? I am not too sure. It's really close here. And now it looks like Forsberg's going to be up the inside, and oh my god, Tom Lombard has tried to close the door. Luckily Forsberg hasn't lost too much time, but luckily for us, do you know exactly what that's done? It's allowed Jerome DeWitt to get involved, and Manuel Alvarez is only about a second behind. Tony Versity in that battle behind as well. This very could possibly become a 6-car battle for P number 2. Very shortly indeed, but maybe not so much. Maybe for P number 3, a 5-car battle for P number 3, because that gap between Lankinen and Lombard is starting to really open up, and the contact is not going to help out there. Looking here at Franco Bagale, he's got Michael Wyatt just in front. Wyatt goes a little bit slow, it forces Bagale wide on that final corner. He's got Martin Fiala and Ovid Anderson just behind. This is the battle for P number 16 at the moment. I'm still looking at your times from your top lot at the moment, because that is very close stuff indeed. And a few of the names, a few of them are highlighted green, but I don't think it's close enough to go and have a little watch at the moment. This gap has started to increase, though, this battle here. But looking at Frans van der Linden, he's still trying to get past Roy Magnus. That's for P number 13 there. Looking at Jerome DeWitt, P number 5, looking to who get past Jazz Forsberg to P number 4. Forsberg is still rather close to Tom Lombard for a podium position, so it's still podium not out of the question for Jazz Forsberg, for Jerome DeWitt, for Manuel Alvarez, for Tony Versity. I think the top 7 all have a chance of getting a podium so far in this race. Only 13 seconds separating your top 7, and only about 6 seconds separating second to 7, because most of that time is between your race leader and second position of Tobias Rona and Thomas Lankinen. But Jazz Forsberg, as we saw, go into turn number 1, very close to Tom Lombard. He's actually up the inside, going through turn number 2, can't quite do it. Into turn number 3 now, he's had to drop back behind. Will he be able to make a move? He goes for the inside. Jazz Forsberg is going to be on the inside, going to be riding side by side. There's contact. Jazz Forsberg and Tom Lombard are around. Forsberg is having to accelerate to get out of Lombard's way, but he's going to have to give the position back. That has allowed Jerome DeWitt to get into P number 3, Manuel Alvarez to P number 4, and Tony Versity to P number 5. It's also increased the gap between second and third to about 3 seconds now, which is very helpful to Thomas Lankinen, who's going to be trying to keep it together as much as he can. And now coming through, looking at your timings at the moment, we do have a battle going on near your rear of your field. This is Ralph Euler in 27th position, trying to get into our standings on the left hand side to get past Nicholas Osterberg for 26th. Don't think he's going to be able to do that at the moment, though. The gap getting rather close to the slow corners, but as you would expect, but it does increase quite a lot out of them. And this is Ragni on the rear of Crozolay. A bit of damage on the front of Ragni's car, so it looks like he's had some wars. Now we know he was near sort of about the bottom of the just outside the top 10, but he's dropped down 23rd position, so he's definitely having some issues tonight. Now, driver who is really not feeling this track by the look of it, Steve Legale, who's that car in the distance you just saw. Now Steve Legale, oh no, Ragni's on off the circuit. That's going to lose him a little bit of time. What I was saying though, Steve Legale, he's been having really good races in all different sims, all different cars at the moment. But tonight, it's just not working for him. He's in 24th position. This is a very difficult car track combination indeed. This track, I mean, it's not a very well-known one at all. But here comes Anderson to go up the inside of Franco Bagale. No, can't quite do it. Slips it back into the rear and he tries. It looks like it got really close on the rear of Franco Bagale. Couldn't quite make the move though. It's just that pink Mercedes. I mean, it's just everything is damn pink this year. I mean, I have nothing against things being pink, but Jesus. Right, Anderson has lost off a little bit of time, got a bit too close to Bagale and maybe got scared off a little bit. Martin Fiala only about half a second behind. We have a look for third position. Manuel Alvarez on the outside of the final turn. He's already past Jerome DeWitt. DeWitt is going to have to drop it back, but no, DeWitt doesn't want to. Oh, he gets back into the racing line just at the last moment. You could see he wanted to get back through. He wanted to get up that inside. Couldn't quite do it. Tobias Rona is in the pits. I don't think there's a mandatory stop, but Tobias Rona has made a pit stop. I don't know what's gone on, but Tobias Rona has done the pit. We don't have the pit stop window being displayed, so I really don't think that is a stop. Now he's come out in this battle between Palginos and Paparel. I just don't even know anymore. Good evening, everyone who is watching as we continue to go up in our viewer count. Good evening tonight, as Rona has pitted from the lead of your race. No mandatory stop as far as I can tell. It's just a pit stop that he's chosen to do. He's very close to Renan Palginos, but it's going to be losing him a lot of time. Oh, where is he going to get through? He's in that number 18 BMW, which I believe belongs to Vargas in real life. 20 minutes to go then. We are halfway. Tobias Rona has done a pit stop. Now, is it that there's no mandatory stop, but with the length of the race you kind of need to make a stop? And Tobias has decided to make his out of the way very early. I'm not too sure, but it means that Tuomas Lankinen currently leads the race about 2 seconds ahead of Manuel Alvarez, who's that car just gone off the screen now. We're looking at Jerome DeWitt, who sits in third, looking to catch up to that position. Tobias Rona is now up to P number 7, about 3 seconds off of Jazz Forsberg, and we're trying his hardest to get back into this fight. I don't know why he's done a pit stop. Please, someone let me know why there is a pit stop being made already. But 19 minutes to go in the session, and I think this is just throwing a spanner into the works with Tobias Rona already. Well, Tobias Rona decided to dive it into the pit lane. There is an overtake. Francesco Rocca down the position. He's got Nicolas Cozolet on the inside line now. Is he going to try a switch back? Can't quite do it, but he sacrifices entry speed. Looks for a better exit in the slipstream coming along the main straightaway. It looks like he's going to have to stay behind for now. No, he goes out at the last possible moment, but Nicolas Cozolet gets the racing line and holds the position, defends it at the moment. Blashasak out of this race. We also see Ingemar Peterson out of this race a long time ago as well. Ross Garland is behind Martin Fayela, who runs a very weird racing line, but Ross Garland's rear end of the car stepping out there. Steve Gibb is off the circuit in Daniel Jean Cordella's number 12 car, and he is out. Patrick Van der Meulen also around, and that's on the exit of the final corner. Having to wait it at the moment. Wait it out. Still waiting. As I think that was Oskar Leski having to move off the circuit there to move out of the way. But this is Van der Meulen now finally getting back onto the track, down in last position. I think he lost about 10 positions from that. He's in 27 out of 27 that still remain. 30 cars started this race. Currently 3 have retired in 22 minutes of racing, with the latest one being Stephen Gibb just very, very recently. Tobias Rona, though, over the rear of Jazz Forsberg. That's going to be for 6th position. Now, Jazz and Lombards obviously had that contact earlier on in the race, and the gap between them has increased to about 3 seconds as they've both got the show back onto the road. And now going through. Now, number 17 minutes to go. We're looking at number 18 car, Tobias Rona, half a second behind Jazz Forsberg, looking to find a way through. But you know what? I would watch that battle. But this is a more important one, I think, because the race lead about 3 laps ago was 2 seconds. It's now about a second, less than a second even, between Tuomas Lankinen and Manuel Alvarez. The gap behind to Jerome DeWitt is only about a second in itself. And now this is going to be interesting. Manuel Alvarez, I think there very possibly well could be a battle for the lead in tonight's race, which is something that I wasn't expecting to see after Tobias Rona started to really pull away. And good evening everyone watching tonight as we continue around. We're on board the number 48 car of Manuel Alvarez, currently in second position. The gap behind is just 9/10 to Jerome DeWitt. The gap ahead is about the same to Tuomas Lankinen. And this is a three-way battle. It's not much of a battle right now, but it's certainly going to develop into one. It's a three-way tie for the lead in your race. I hope it's not going to turn into a cars sort of finish where the three has to stretch across the line. Of course, there's no tongue sitting out on one of these cars, but it would be interesting if it does end that way, where the three are tied right to the end. But they're extremely close at the moment, and Alvarez has really closed in a lot of time in the second sector there. He's now all over the rear. Tuomas Lankinen, only 2/10 between them. Surely this is going to be the position. Surely it's going to be a change for the lead in your race. Manuel Alvarez has taken the lead in the race here at Moscow. Tuomas Lankinen down a second, but Manuel Alvarez, the rear end kicks out, coming across the line. Who's going to be leading? It's going to be Tuomas Lankinen ahead, only just by about 0.003 of a second ahead of Manuel Alvarez. Manuel is going to have to hold it behind for now, and Tuomas Lankinen holds the lead in your race. Jerome DeWitt is going to go up the inside. Manuel Alvarez now down to third position. Jerome DeWitt up into P number 2, but the gap now between Tuomas Lankinen and Jerome DeWitt has increased because of DeWitt having to make the move past of Alvarez, and now that is about a second, and you can see that gap has now increased. So that is going to give Tuomas Lankinen a slight buffer. Vangelis Parginos is into the pit lane. Therefore, we see another car into the pit lane. Who else was that? We also see Ronnie Van Rouge into the pit. So I think pit stops aren't mandatory, but they are necessary. I think they are going to be needed. As we continue around here, 14 minutes to go. More drivers diving into your pit lane. I believe we've seen about 4 or 5 come in. The top 24 racers in tonight's event are still on your lead lap. Ross Garland is off the circuit, so let's make that the top 23 drivers, because Garland is sitting off the circuit, stationary at the edge of your track. By the look of it, he's run off one of your runoff roads and he is out. So we have yet another retirement. In fact, we've had multiple in the last few laps. We've actually dropped. We've had 3 retirements in the past about 6 minutes. So it's not looking good for a number of our drivers. We're now down to 24 drivers. Means only one driver still racing tonight is a lap down. Everyone else is still on the lead lap, which is fantastic to see in itself. Looking at it, Tobias Rona has been able to move up to P number 4, as we're going to go have a little look, because he is behind Tom Lombard. That's going to be for P number 4. He's currently P number 5. I do apologise. And those top 3 are still really close together, but the moment Tobias gets past Tom Lombard, it's going to be about 6 seconds up the road before he gets to this 3-way battle for the lead. But again, it's going to be whether we do see a more pit stops for drivers, or whether they're taking it a lot safer coming through the bottom end of the circuit now. I believe we're looking at Tobias Rona. He's going to be trying his hardest to get through. I think we see Roy Magnus into the pit lane. We do. He's just getting going now out of the pit. Tobias Rona has still got Tony Versti on his rear, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really pressure Rona at all. Coming up towards the penultimate turn now, onto the long straight, sacrificing entry speed for a better exit. You see the 3 leaders up front. That is the 3 leaders in your race, with Tom Lombard, this driver here. But talking about your 3 leaders, Manuel Alvarez did get really close, can't quite do it, but Tobias Rona was up and through along the straight. I did say during practice and in qualifying that straight is going to be so crucial for slipstreaming, and it's proving the drivers can actually make the overtake before the corner. Rona's going defensive as he has to try and hold it on Lombard, but I think he's been able to do that. Pushed it very hard through turn number 1 though, just kept it together and continue around. Is coming through here. Now 11.5 minutes remaining, and there's someone's gone around. That's Tom Lombard off the circuit. That's not good at all. He was running really close in 6th position after losing, actually no, he was in 5th after losing the position to Tobias Rona. Then Tony Versti was able to make the move through, and now Tom Lombard's down to 6th. He's still in 6th following the spin, but he's 6 seconds off of that battle that he was just involved with Tony Versti. So unfortunately for him, it looks like that is going to be his battle for the top 5 over, unless there's some sort of mistake or some contact, because you're leading 3. They are still separated by about 2 seconds at most points on this circuit. It's really close at the moment between Tuomas Lankinen, Jerome DeWitt and Manuel Alvarez. In fact, it's really close between DeWitt and Lankinen. However, along this straight, very weirdly enough, the gap is increasing. No slipstream, doesn't look like DRS active for either of the two drivers, as we now head in to 10 minutes to go. We're half an hour into this race, 30 minutes down, 10 minutes to go. And now we are coming through turn number 1. Jerome DeWitt in 2nd position, but it is this driver here of Tuomas Lankinen who is leading this race, leading this 3-way battle, because this battle at the moment includes your entire podium. Tuomas Lankinen, Jerome DeWitt and Manuel Alvarez, they're the 3 cars who are on board with Lankinen. We've got the 2 drivers just behind, and DeWitt getting really close to the rear. Tuomas Lankinen now out of the 1st sector. Coming through, he's going to be trying his hardest to hold the position, but the pressure has got to be getting to him. And if these two come together just that little bit, Manuel Alvarez, he's about a second down, but he could very much capitalise on some issues from these 2 leading drivers. And Tobias Rona has been able to close that gap up now. It is getting closer, and Jerome DeWitt goes for the move. He goes for the move up the inside. Can't do anything at the moment, but he's side by side still. He's still up the inside on the left-hand side. Can't quite do anything. He has to stay behind for now. Coming up through the 3rd to last corner into the penultimate corner. He's really close. Only about half a second between them, as now he is behind Tuomas Lankinen. Tuomas Lankinen slides, but Jerome DeWitt slides it even more. And that's the mistake they were looking for. Here comes Manuel Alvarez. Manuel Alvarez up into 2nd position. He's going to be closing that time. It's closing, it's getting even closer to Tuomas Lankinen. This very possibly could be the lead for Manuel Alvarez. Not quite at the moment though, he's about half a second going into the final corner, but Tuomas Lankinen still leads, but now it's Manuel Alvarez who's going to be the one to take that 2nd position. But in the distance you can see coming through that final corner, Tobias Rona is getting involved. We've seen so many cars come into the pit lane now. Will we see any of these 3 leaders come to the pits? I really hope not, because the moment Tobias Rona gets involved, this is a 4-way battle for the top 4 positions in your race, which will be absolutely fantastic to see. We're about 8.5 minutes to go. Manuel Alvarez in 2nd position now, following the 2 mistakes from, well, the mistake from Tuomas Lankinen, only a little mistake though, meant that he was able to hold the lead, but a big slide from Jerome DeWitt. Manuel Alvarez slipped right through, and I did just say earlier on in the lap, he's waiting for some of these, well, for one of these cars, or even both of them, to make some contact or make a mistake, and he's going to capitalise on that. And that's exactly what happened. He really did capitalise as he continues to go around these leading 3, going really well at the moment. As now, oh my God, that is going to be up the inside. Oh, Manuel Alvarez trying to go for the lead in your race. This is absolutely fantastic racing at the moment. Jerome DeWitt is not quite getting involved, but he has got Tobias Rona about 1.5 seconds off of him. But Manuel Alvarez is so close to Tuomas Lankinen. He's closing that gap. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Will he be close enough to make the move into the final corner? They're side by side. This is going to be a move for the lead in your race. Manuel Alvarez technically has the lead at the moment, but will he be able to hold it into the final corner? They were side by side. Manuel Alvarez has got the lead at the moment, but no, it's going to be Tuomas Lankinen. It's constantly changing along across the line. It's Tuomas Lankinen in the lead. Manuel Alvarez in 2nd, but he's got the inside of the 1st stand. He can't quite do it. And now Jerome DeWitt is going to try and get involved. Can't quite do that. He's in 3rd position at the moment. He's going to have to help behind. Tobias Rona has now got involved in 4th, and this is a 4-car battle for the lead in your race after 33 minutes of racing. 7 minutes to go. This is absolutely fantastic. Tuomas Lankinen is in your lead the race, and Jerome DeWitt goes wide and through. Goes Tobias Rona into 3rd, but that's not going to be the end of it, because here comes Jerome DeWitt. So that is going to be Tobias trying to hold it around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, and it's going to be Rona down the position, and he has to stay in 4th at the moment. And now the gap between 3rd and 2nd has increased, but Manuel Alvarez has stayed right behind Tuomas Lankinen for the lead in this race. He is going to be trying his hardest heading into the final 6 minutes of the race. Oh my god, I can't even breathe. This is going to be about 4 or 5 more laps. Maybe only 4 laps between them. This is going to be fantastic. Oh my word, this is now 2 battles because the gap between DeWitt and Alvarez has increased following the battle between DeWitt and Tobias Rona. But I'm going to go have a little look at this lead battle once more because Manuel Alvarez is still over the rear of Tuomas Lankinen. He's not close enough this time though. He's going to have to stay behind as he comes up to the final turn. A lot of smoke being kicked up ahead. That means they are catching up to back markers. Only one car currently a lap down. That's Patrick van der Meulen. But it looks like they're catching up to Ralf Euler. That's Tobias Rona looking to make a move. We're going to go have a little look through that at the moment because I think Rona's going to be able to get that move past Jerome DeWitt. It's just going to be about when. It's coming through. That's a little bit of a wobble from Tobias Rona. Is he going to be able to get around the outside? Can't quite do it. And he's going to have to stay behind at the moment to Jerome DeWitt coming through. He's sitting in 4th position at the moment. It's now coming through. 5 minutes to go in the session at the moment, and it looks like we've lost a driver. We've lost a driver. No. We've lost someone. I think we've lost... No, Tom Lombard. We lost someone in that. Because now... Manuel Alvarez is doing this battle, but Jerome DeWitt in 3rd. We lost someone. Because there's only 29 cars in this server. I feel like we did. But anyway, we're looking at Manuel Alvarez because he's at the inside of Tuomas Lankinen and he's going to be going for the lead in the race. And he is through. Manuel Alvarez leads Tuomas Lankinen across the line with less than 5 minutes to go. This is absolutely fantastic here. And now Manuel Alvarez on the outside. Tuomas Lankinen is going to be attempting to get back through. Can't quite do it. And he's going to have to hold it behind for now. But we did lose someone. Or there definitely was a big mistake. Tom Lombard's in 4th position at the moment. Gary Parker in 5th. Oh no. A disconnect there. That's a real shame. Tuomas Lankinen has lost a lot of time already. Manuel Alvarez looks like he's taking a dominating lead now with just 3.5 minutes to go. That's exactly what he wants to see. Agni behind Nicholas Osterberg now. Looks like Begali also out. So now we have 7 retirements. 22 cars still remaining. We obviously have 7 retirements from 1 disconnect. Tuomas Lankinen, he's been doing really well at the moment. So he's got up to 2nd. And then we did see Tobias Rona pit. That's who disconnected. So Rona has disconnected. So that's a real shame. But it's meant that now your 2 leaders are battling for the win. Tuomas Lankinen, if I'm not mistaken, Thursday were his first races on RaceRoom. He did really well, but if he can win here, that'll be fantastic for him. And now we're looking at Matthew Paparel. He's got Gary Parker just in front. It's about 6/10 behind. He's got about a second back to Marginos. But he's about half a second to Parker just up in front. Parker's a new name for me. Don't think I've ever come across Gary Parker, the American driver, currently in 5th position in the session. But what a drive at the moment for the Portuguese driver of Manuel Alvarez. Tuomas Lankinen is back within a second, so I have to watch this battle. I really do. Just 2.5 minutes to go. This is exactly what I want to see in a race. It's been fantastic, and this is why I love RaceRoom Sundays. Be sure to join us every single Sunday, because we do RaceRoom Sunday every single Sunday, unless I'm ill or away. But most Sundays anyway, we do these, and they are absolutely fantastic. The best racing of the week, some of the best racing you will see in sim racing. It's fantastic. A back marker moving out the way, getting completely off the circuit. Hopefully the Red Bull driver, I believe, or Patrick van der Meulen will do the same. He does. He drives it right off the circuit to get out of this way, because Manuel Alvarez, there's a little bit of contact. Tuomas Lankinen's got into the rear of him. He's lost a little bit of time with that, but he's going to be trying his hardest to stay on the rear. Be sure to like and subscribe this video if you have enjoyed the stream so far, if you've enjoyed the race. Also, be sure to head over to racedepartment.com, become a premium member today. At the moment, it's only $7.50 for the entire year of premium. It's on the discount at the moment. Be sure to get it whilst it's still on that discount. But Lankinen all over the rear of Alvarez. We're coming up to the final lap of the race. There's not enough time to do another lap after the next one. So they're coming up to the final lap. Lankinen all over the rear of Manuel Alvarez. He's going to go for the outside. Alvarez is going to be trying to hold that inside line. He's going to be able to do it. Lankinen goes for the switchback, and there's a little bit of a tap. Lankinen is actually going to be able to take the lead in this race as he comes across the line. It's going to be Manuel Alvarez only just ahead. Oh, I hope this is this close on the final lap of the race. Thomas Lankinen is through back into the lead of the race. Manuel Alvarez about 4 tenths behind. He's going to be trying his hardest to stick with him, but he can't at the moment. We saw this with Lankinen before, though. He dropped back, but it didn't. It took him 2 laps to get back and through. Will we see the same here? I don't know. As we're coming through here at the moment. So it's a little bit of a wobble for Lankinen. He's got Manuel Alvarez all over the rear. This could be a really close finish. I think that this is definitely the closest finish for the lead in the race that I've seen at all in any race that I've broadcasted over my entire, I think it's 5 months I've been broadcasting for Race Department. No! Manuel Alvarez is off. He's down. Jerome DeWitt takes second. Thomas Lankinen is going to win your race. Just as I said. Oh no, commentator's curse. Jerome DeWitt, he's into second because Manuel Alvarez on the final lap. No. I mean, I wish last lap was the final lap because, my God, that would have been Alvarez's win by about 1,000th of a second. But here comes your race winner, Thomas Lankinen, against all the different battles that have been going on. Thomas Lankinen is going to win your race here tonight. Jerome DeWitt is going to come across the home as the line in second. Manuel Alvarez is going to be kicking himself to come across the line to finish in third. But what a race by this dude right here. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Thomas Lankinen, your race winner tonight. What a run. I mean, I think he started outside of your top 10, I think. I don't think he was very high in your qualifying order. Maybe it's 6th or 7th. But Lankinen, he just got up into second. Then we saw Rona do that pit stop, put Lankinen into first. Rona did get back involved. And then those battles that we saw at the end. So close. Absolutely great entertainment there. Wow, what absolutely great racing that we've seen tonight, as we're going to see now the final results very shortly, as we'll see the standings pop up once the last drivers come across the line. What a win for Thomas Lankinen, though. A well-deserved win for sure for the Automobilista veteran. Thomas will be very happy with that, and I'm sure Jim Nobbs will be very happy to see that Thomas has taken the victory. I know that Jim supports Thomas quite a lot. As we now come, the last drivers come across the line very shortly. We will be seeing the race results, hopefully. Please just show us the damn race results already. There we go. So Lankinen wins your race then by about 5 seconds over Jerome DeWitt. Alves finishing in third. Tom Lombards crossed the line in fourth, and fifth being Parker. Palginos in 6th, Paparal in 7th, Paleskas in 8th, Van Rouge and Magnus. Magnus doing a really great job to round out your top 10 there. Van der Linden in 11th, Steve Legale in 12th, followed by Forsberg, Fayela, Osterberg, Wyatt, Regni, Kozale, Verste and Anderson, Euler and Van der Meulen rounding out your finishers. Tobias Rona, that disconnect at the very end, getting the fastest lap of the race as well. Begali, Garland, Oliswinski, Rocker, Gibb, Blashisak and Peterson rounding out all of your DNFers. But wow, what a race indeed. That was fantastic. I mean, I don't think I was expecting that. A 4-car battle for the lead, which was just ever changing, and it's a shame it ended the way it did. But what absolutely great racing. If you did enjoy that, be sure to hit the thumbs up because that was fantastic. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here as well. If you want to get involved in this racing and not already a premium member, be sure to head over to racedepartment.com to become a premium member. I'm happy to also say that we have a stream every single day of the week over the coming week. We've got one on Monday. We've got an Automobilista stream. We got an R Factor 2 stream on Tuesday. We got an Assetto Corsa stream on Wednesday. We got a RaceRoom stream on Thursday. We got another stream, I can't remember what, on Friday. I believe it's Assetto Corsa. I'm not too sure though. We've got a R Factor 2 stream, 2 R Factor 2 streams on Saturday. One of them being a surprise. And then on Sunday, we've also got RaceRoom Sunday, of course, on a RaceRoom. So please be sure to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. I'm going to go and take a breather. I'm also sure that most of the people in this house are now really annoyed with how much I've just been yelling towards you. Please just let me know whether that mic was doing well. It was holding up well with all my yelling because it is a new mic that I was trying out today. Be sure if there's anything that you would like to hear different, then be sure to let me know. How was the audio levels as well? Be really helpful if you can let me know because I will go back and watch the stream myself, but I need other people to give me feedback as well so I can improve it for the next streams. Thank you very much, Paul Becker, for subscribing. You will be the last thing that I say. I'll be sure to hopefully see you every single day this week. Goodbye.